Hello friends, welcome to QApedia and this is our blog qapedia.com. Today the topic that we are going to discuss is positive testing and negative testing. And the table of contents that we are going to discuss today are positive testing and negative testing, examples of positive testing and negative testing, and that we will see two examples. Then what is positive testing and negative testing, and that we will see what is the positive testing, what is negative testing. Then we will see importance of positive testing and negative testing, and then we will see the summary of the session, and at the end we will see question for the session. So let's start positive testing and negative testing. So let's see examples of positive and negative testing. Let's see our first example, and let's assume that we have a field in a website that accepts numbers only, and the numbers should range between 0 to 9. So we can write test cases using test case design techniques, and there will be two test case design techniques that we can use. The first one is boundary value analysis and the second one is equivalence class partitioning. So as per boundary value analysis, there will be 6 test cases that will come up. And what will be those 6 test cases? We will take boundary values. So we will take boundary values between 0 to 10, that will be -1, 0, 1, 8, 9 and 10. So -1 number should not be allowed. We should not be able to enter -1 number in the field. 0 should be allowed. We should be able to enter 0 number. Then 1 should be allowed. We should be able to enter 1. 8 should be allowed. We should be able to enter 8. 9 should be allowed. We should be able to enter 9. 10 should not be allowed. We should not be able to enter 10 in that field. And if we will use equivalence class partitioning, then 3 test cases will come up. Any value less than 0, so let's say -5, that should not be allowed. We should not be able to enter that number. Any value between 0 to 9, so let's say 4 should be allowed. We should be able to enter that number. Any value more than 9, let's say 16, so we should not be able to enter 16 number. Okay, now we have seen that we have got 3 test cases here and we have got 6 test cases here, so there are total 9 test cases. So in some test cases we are talking that some numbers should not be allowed, we should not be able to enter, and some numbers should be allowed, we should be able to enter those numbers. So wherever we are saying that a particular number should not be allowed, that type of test case is called as negative test case and the testing is called as negative testing. And wherever a number is allowed, we are able to enter that number. That type of testing is called as positive testing and the test case is called as positive test case. Okay, so let's say one more example, and this time we are going to take an example of login functionality. So if we want to write test cases for login functionality, then we have to use decision table testing. So using decision table testing, we can write below test cases. So this is a table, this is a decision table testing table, and in this table we have got some test cases like test case 1, test case 2, test case 3 and test case 4. So in test case 1, what we are doing, we are providing a username as true and we are providing password as true. That means correct username and correct password. So in that case, what is happening, login is getting successful. Okay, then we have a test case number 2. In this test case, we are providing false username and we are providing true password. So incorrect username and correct password. In that case, what should happen, login should be failed. Then we have test case number 3, and test case number 3, what we are doing, we are providing true username, that is correct username, and we are providing false password, that means incorrect password. So in that case also, what should happen, our login should be failed. Then we have a test case number 4. In this test case number 4, what we are doing, we are providing incorrect username, incorrect password. In that case also, our login should be failed. So we have 4 test cases, and in test case 1, our login is getting successful. So this type of test case will be called as positive test case and the testing will be called as positive testing. in rest of the test cases our login is getting failed. So wherever our login is getting failed, that test case is called negative test case and testing is negative testing. Okay. Now after seeing this example, if suppose we want to define our positive testing and negative testing, then it would be very easy for us to define it. So let's define what is positive testing and what is negative testing. So what is positive testing? So when we perform testing on a software application with valid input data, this is a very important line that we are going to perform testing using valid input data. Then this type of testing is called positive testing. Then if suppose you want to define what is negative testing, then negative testing will be something when we perform testing on a software application with invalid input data. Okay, so the input data is invalid, then this type of testing is called negative testing. Okay, that testing is called as negative testing. So we have already seen the example, we can again see it, that when we were entering -1 was an invalid number for that field because the field only accepts number between 0 to 10. So -1 is an invalid number, invalid input data, so that is not allowed. So that type of testing we were calling as negative testing. Then the field accepts 0 to 9 number, and when we were trying to enter 0 it was allowed, and that type of testing is called as positive testing because 0 is a valid input number for that field. Okay, so now what is positive testing, what is negative testing is clear for us, the definition is clear for us. Now let's see what is the importance of positive testing and negative testing. So positive testing and negative testing is very important due to some reasons. The first reason is system should work as expected. So positive and negative testing is done so that we can find out that the system is doing actually what it is expected to do. So we should be able to log in when we provide correct credentials, and we should not be able to log in when we provide wrong credentials. Okay, so we have seen this in login functionality. uh, Login should only be successful for correct credentials and it should be failed for wrong credentials. So this is how we determine our system is working as expected. Then security purpose. We have seen in our login functionality example that no one should be able to log in for wrong credentials. So if suppose we don't do negative testing and if everybody is able to access our account with wrong password, then our account will no longer be secure. So for security purposes also we should be doing negative testing or positive testing. Then stability of a system. So we have seen in the above examples, if suppose a field which is accepting numbers only between 0 to 10, then rest of the numbers should not be allowed. But if suppose we don't do negative testing and the field accepts all the number, then our system might crash. Okay, because the system capacity we have designed in order to accept only numbers between 0 to 10, but now it is accepting all the numbers, so our system might crash. So these are some reasons why should we do positive and negative testing. We should be checking our stability of the system, we should be checking security of the system, and we should be checking that the system working as expected or not. So these are some reasons why should we do positive and negative testing. Now what is the summary of the session? So we have covered some topics in our session. Below topics: positive testing and negative testing. We have seen the examples of positive and negative testing. Then we have seen what is positive and negative testing, and what is positive testing, what is negative testing, and then we have seen the importance of positive testing and negative testing. Now what is the question for the session? Then the question is for today's session is, give an example of negative testing from e-commerce application. Okay, so that's it for this session. If you want to get the notes for this session, you can go to this particular blog and take notes, and that's it for the session. Thank you very much, friends.